Hello, so in today's video I wanted to talk about one of the biggest fears that athletes have that really influences sometimes a large part of their focus as well as their mental health and when it comes to their sports, and that is the fear of rejection. And a lot of athletes, their identity is highly tied to their sport, and their worth is tied to the results, to the outcome. And as a part of that, it makes us feel when we're performing at a high level, or we're getting results and we're getting, maybe accolades or praise, that we kind of belong. And obviously sometimes when we're not getting those results or not getting those outcomes, or worrying about potentially not getting those outcomes or results we want, we fear that by not doing so, we will be rejected by those people around us or even by society as a whole. And as I said, this is one of the biggest things that athletes face, and this is one of the reasons why it is extremely important for athletes to really be able to kind of untie and unhook their identity to their sport, to their result, and really figure out who they are. And this is a big reason why with the athletes that I work with, this is something that we do look at. We look at who they are away from their sport to really help to define that and to help them to really embrace that. And one of the things to think about for you when it comes to your identity, anything that comes and goes is not who you are. So your emotions, your results, your thoughts, all of these things that sometimes we use to define ourselves are not who we are, because they are temporary. They come and they go. And we have to really look at what are those things that really look at who we are as a person, away from the things that we do, which will help us to really get to a mental state where we can really be a little bit more fluid, a little bit more loose, and really surrender and let go to those things we cannot control in those environments where we're really wanting to perform at a high level. There's only so many things you can do to prepare, to put yourself in the very best position to unlock, to access your potential in a moment. But there's so many things you cannot control, and you really have to be able to surrender and let go of the fact that you cannot control a great deal of things. And when you do that, it really helps to open up your level and change your level of consciousness to then be able to actually effectively perform, and to know that the results that you get, the mistakes that you make, they do not define you, they do not define your worth, who you are as a person. And it is challenging because these things we put so much time into, so much energy into, and a lot of the time we just haven't thought of who am I away from these things that I do. And again, it doesn't mean you can't care. It doesn't mean you don't still put in a ton of time and effort into, your sport, but you really have to be able to sit there and say, okay, like, this is who I am, and my self-worth and does not get influenced by my results. And that will help to really release some of that pressure, kind of lift a lot of that pressure that maybe you put on yourself or you feel given your circumstances. And so that's very, very important. A couple ways that you can do this is, one, you really got to maybe look at, what is your purpose, a bigger purpose, kind of more for your life. What are you wanting to, do within your life? Like, what is your why for your life, not for your sport? And then, another way is looking at your values, really defining your values. This is something I go pretty deep in with my clients, to really identify and figure out what those values are for them, so that they kind of begin to, again, figure out what are the things that really are who they are, and so they can bring that aspect to themselves into everything that they do, and the results will be the results that they get. But if they really are, living based off of their values, have value-based behaviors, kind of, know what their why is, and know that the thing that they're doing, the sport they're doing, is a vehicle to help, with that, it kind of, as I said, it helps us to remove that identity that's so highly tied often to our sport.